concept, basic construction of three-phase induction motor is shown in this figure. Mainly, there are two parts. First one is the stator, and second one is the rotor. In the stator itself, the stator comprises of stator frames, stator core, stator slots. And in these slots, three-phase stator winding is placed. Okay. Then rotor. In the rotor or the outer periphery of the rotor, and in the slots, either copper bars or aluminum bars are placed, or windings are placed according to the rotor type. Okay. In squirrel cage rotor, rotor bars are placed, and all the bars are connected or short circuited with an end ring. In slip ring rotors, the slots are in the slots, the windings are provided and it is connected to slip rings. Okay, this is the basic of the construction of three-phase induction motor. You can see here. Okay, then we are moving to the working principle. As we all know, this three-phase induction motor works on the principle of Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Okay. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction is that whenever a magnetic flux linked with a conductor changes, an EMF is induced in it. Okay. Here we are giving three-phase supply to the stator winding. When we are giving three-phase supply, a rotating magnetic field is developed. That is, we know that the basic principle which we have studied in the 12th standard, that a current carrying conductor around the current carrying conductor there will be a magnetic field. Okay, there will be a magnetic field. That same principle is applied here. Here three-phase supply is given, and this magnetic field will be in a rotating motion. Okay, so this rotating magnetic field rotates and cuts the rotor conductors. And since it cuts the rotor conductors, an EMF will be induced in the rotor conductors, and hence the rotor current. And according to Lenz's law, it will oppose the cause producing it. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Message is coming that they are not able to hear. Okay. Okay. When we are giving three-phase supply to the stator conductors, a rotating magnetic field will be developed, and the rotor conductors, the stationary rotor conductors get cut, and EMF will be induced in the rotor conductors, and induced current will be produced. This current will have a direction so as to oppose the cause producing it. Okay, the cause producing the rotating magnetic field, the cause producing the EMF is is the relative motion between the rotating magnetic field and the rotor conductors. So in order to oppose the cause, the rotor have to reduce the relative motion between this speed of the rotating magnetic field and this rotor. To reduce this, the rotor tries to rotate in the same speed as that of the rotating magnetic field. The speed of the rotating magnetic field is known as synchronous speed. Okay. And this synchronous speed, ns, is equal to 120 f by p, where f is the frequency and p is the number of poles. Okay. The another important thing in this is the slip. Slip is the difference between the speed of the stator field and the actual speed of the rotor. That is, there will be a difference in the synchronous speed and the rotor speed. Rotor speed is expressed as n, and the equation for slip is ns minus n by ns. Okay, this slip is the difference between the synchronous speed and the rotor speed, but it is expressed in the terms of synchronous speed. So the equation will become ns minus n by ns. This is the basic thing we have to know about the three-phase induction motor before getting into induction generator. Okay, I think all of you understood this portion. We'll move to the next portion. That is the first topic of module 6. Induction generator. Induction generator means we know that what is a generator? Generator is a machine that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. The same induction motor can be run as an induction generator. Okay, how it can be run as an induction generator? We are providing some mechanical force or mechanical energy to the machine. We can see here the parts. There is a shaft. We are connecting connecting any prime mover to the shaft, and this prime mover rotates the rotor to a speed above synchronous speed. Okay, that is, stator is connected to three-phase supply as in this induction motor, and rotor is connected to a prime mover. You can see the circuit, a basic diagram for this induction motor. Here, the induction motor, the rotor of the induction motor is coupled with a petrol engine, where petrol engine is the prime mover. Okay, and the stator is connected to the supply. Okay, is it clear? Okay. When this stator is connected to the supply and supply, what will happen? A rotating magnetic field is produced as in the induction motor, and the rotating magnetic field have a speed of ns, synchronous speed. Okay, this petrol engine or the prime mover will move the rotor to a speed higher than the synchronous speed. We are providing a prime mover to increase the speed of the rotor to a speed which is higher than the synchronous speed. Okay, I will explain with the cursor so you can understand it. Here you can see the induction motor, and this induction motor, the rotor of the induction motor is connected to this petrol engine, that is coupled with this petrol engine, and the stator is connected to the mains. You can see here. When this petrol engine drives this rotor to a speed higher than the synchronous speed, this machine will act as a generator, and it provides power to the supply. It provides power to the supply. This power will be active power. Okay. This is shown in this slide. All the explanation is shown in this slide. When the prime mover moves the rotor above the synchronous speed, the rotor conductors cut the magnetic field in a reverse direction. Okay, reverse direction as that of the motor. And the EMF and current in the rotor will reverse their directions. Since the rotor conductors cut the magnetic field in a reverse direction, what will happen? The EMF and current also reverses its direction. When EMF and current reverses its direction, what will happen? The machine delivers electrical energy to the mains. Okay, instead of taking it from the mains. Okay, then what will happen? Slip become negative. Why slip become negative? Equation for the slip is ns minus n by ns. That is, slip is the difference between the synchronous speed and the rotor speed. Slip becomes negative means n is a greater value than the ns. So ns minus n by ns will become a negative value. Thus, mechanical energy is converted to electrical energy, and this induction machine can be worked as an induction generator. This induction generator is also known as asynchronous generator. Okay. This is the torque slip curve of this induction machine. Here you can see for the negative slip, it has a generating mode of action, and in the positive slip, motoring action, and after slip equal to 1, braking action will happen. That means slip equal to 1 means n equal to 0. Again, the torque of this induction motor, induction machine is same, induction generator is same as that of induction motor, except we have to add some negative sign in this slip. Torque is directly proportional to phi 2 I2 cos phi 2, and phi 2 is the flux developed, I2 is the current in the rotor, cos phi 2 is the power factor, and the maximum torque will be developed when S equal to R2 by X2. These all things are we have studied in the 4th module in 3-phase induction motor itself. Okay. Induction generator supplies active power to the, I have already said that it supplies active power to the main and receives lagging reactive power from the mains. This reactive power is used for the magnetizing process. Okay. Then we'll move to the types of induction generators. Okay. Induction generators are of 2 types mainly. First one is induction generator connected to mains. Second one is self-excited or isolated. Induction generator connected to mains means otherwise it is known as grid connected induction generator. Here you can see the 3-phase induction generator is coupled with the prime mover. Okay. And it is connected to the transmission line. You can see here. Since it is connected to the transmission line, it is known as grid connected or induction generator connected to mains. We are providing a capacitor bank here. Electrical load is also connected to the transmission line. This capacitor bank provides the necessary reactive power for the induction generator. Okay, this capacitor bank provides the necessary reactive power for the operation of induction generator. I have already said that the induction generator receives reactive power from the transmission line for magnetizing it. So here we are providing capacitor bank for that process. Okay. The capacitor bank must be large enough to supply this this amount of reactive power. Then we are moving to the second type of induction generator. That is self-excited or isolated induction generator. Self-excited generator means we are in some case in some remote places where we are not there is no grid, or we cannot connect to a grid. We use this type of isolated induction generator. Here, the capacitor bank itself provides full reactive power, whatever the reactive power needed for the three-phase induction generator and the load. Here you can see the three-phase generator is connected to the prime mover, and also it is connected to the capacitor bank and the load. This capacitor bank provides reactive power to the induction generator as well as the load. So the reactive power produced by capacitor bank Q equal to Q1 plus Q2, where Q1 is the reactive power to the three-phase induction generator, and Q2 is the reactive power to the load. Okay, and the three-phase induction motor provides P, that is active power to the load. Okay, understood? Hope this is clear. Next question is comparison of induction generator with alternator. In alternator, we need DC excitation. But here, we know that there is no need of DC excitation.
Ma'am, can we move on to doubt clarification?
Okay, doubt clarification.
Okay, we got some questions from... the first question is, how can we increase the RPM of a synchronous machine? How can we increase the RPM?
We are explaining about the induction generator.
Yes, ma'am.
So here we are using, as I have already said, we are using a prime mover to increase the speed above the synchronous in this induction generator.
Okay. Can we move to next question, ma'am?
Yes.
The next, initially, whether it is present initially, residual field. There's a question in the chat box.
Okay, we in this machine we are providing three-phase supply in order to get a rotating magnetic field. Along with that, we are providing another prime mover to increase the speed of the rotor to a speed higher than the synchronous speed. Okay, is that clear?
Okay, ma'am. One more question is there. What will be the frequency change of the output?
Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, one more question is there. Am I audible, ma'am? Hello.
Okay.
The next
Frequency
question
of
is frequency change of the output.
Okay. Okay, that will explained in this next slide.
Okay.
It will be explained in the.
Okay, ma'am. You can proceed, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Okay, we will move to the comparison. In this comparison, we are comparing with the alternator. Okay. In alternator, DC excitation is required, but here DC excitation is not at all required. We are providing AC supply. Second point is induction generator only generates when stator is connected to mains. That we have already understood. Okay, a three-phase supply or it should be the stator should be connected to the mains in order to generate power. Okay. The frequency and voltage of induction generator are the line. You can see here are those the frequency and voltage of the induction generator are those of the line to which it is connected irrespective of the load. That is, the frequency and voltage of the induction generator will be same as that of the line which we are connecting, and it does not depend upon the load. Okay. Next point is it does not have a definite speed for a given frequency, but speed with constant frequency varies with load. That means when load is varied, we have to increase the speed. So we are providing some automatic arrangement for increasing the speed in order to make the frequency constant. Okay. Next is no synchronizing is required since the machine cannot generate EMF until it is connected to the supply. Okay. Last is the unique feature of the induction generator, that is power factor of the output is fixed and is leading and is also independent of the external circuit. The power factor is leading. That is a unique feature of this induction generator. Next is the advantages. Advantages: simple and rugged in construction, cheaper in cost, easy for maintenance. When it is a short circuit, it delivers only little power or no sustained power since its excitation becomes zero. Okay, these are all the advantages. Then disadvantages means it can't be operated independently. Although we have said that there is a type of self-excited induction generator, it is of limited importance or limited use. Okay. It can deliver only leading current, but most of the situations lagging current is required. So this is also a disadvantage. Application of induction generator. Application is that it can be used in tidal power plant, wind power station, and also in braking purposes. This is all about induction generator. Next is synchronous induction motor. Next main topic of this module is synchronous induction motor. Okay. As its name implies, synchronous induction motor means synchronous induction motor, it works as a synchronous motor as well as an induction motor. Okay, that is, during the starting period, it acts as an induction motor. And when it runs and attain a normal running speed, it will act as a synchronous motor. Okay. This rotor consists of three-phase winding and is a round rotor type machine. Okay. The rotor consists of three-phase winding, but we are giving DC supply to this rotor. Okay. Here you can see the principle of operation. For synchronous mode, the rotor has to be excited by a DC supply. That is, the working principle is same as like that. We are giving a excitation to the rotor field, a rotor winding. When rotor winding is excited, it develops north and south poles. It is fixed in space, and when the rotating magnetic field that is already created in the stator get magnetically locked with the north pole and south pole, what will happen? The rotor also rotate with this rotating magnetic field. Thus, it acts as a synchronous motor. Okay, is it clear? At the first, that means at starting, we are giving three-phase supply to the machine, and it acts as three-phase supply to the stator, and it will produce a rotating magnetic field as in the induction machine. And we are exciting the rotor with a DC supply. When we excite this rotor with a DC supply, alternate north and south poles will be produced. Okay, this north and south poles, since it is fixed in space, it gets magnetically coupled. How it gets magnetically coupled? The rotating magnetic field that of the stator magnetic field, when it rotates, the south pole of the stator magnetic field gets attracted to the north pole of the rotor pole. Okay. Then this north pole of the rotor and south pole of the stator get magnetically locked. What will rotate? The rotor will rotate as that of the rotating magnetic field moves. Understood? This is the working principle of motor, synchronous induction motor. In the starting, it will act as a induction motor, and after that, when it attains, when it gets magnetically locked, it will move in the same speed as that of what? The synchronous field or the magnetic field, rotating magnetic field. So it will act as a synchronous machine, synchronous motor that have the same speed as that of rotating magnetic field. The motor runs at a constant speed equal to synchronous speed. Okay, is it clear? Okay, this is the different types of connection given to the rotor. Okay, we have already said that we are providing three-phase windings to the rotor and giving DC excitation. Here you can see in the first figure, rotor circuit 1, this is known as two-lead connection. The two terminals are connected to the DC supply and one winding is isolated. Second is three-lead connection. Here you can see two of the leads or two of the terminals are connected and it will act as these two will act as parallel circuits, and this winding will act as a series to this parallel windings. Okay, this is the second type of connection. Next is the winding connected in a delta connection. Here you can see the first figure. The two terminals are connected. In the second figure, that is rotor circuit D, you can see the one of the terminal is short circuited. Okay. Here you can see two winding supply. Two winding supply is also provided. These are the types. Here you can see in the the rotor circuit E, you can see two windings are connected to the DC supply, and in the rotor circuit F, you can see these two windings are connected. The leads of the two windings are connected, and this is the last type of connection in the rotor circuit. Okay. This is the circuit for synchronous induction motor. Okay, you can see here, this is the stator part. We are already said that stator is connected to the three-phase supply. This stator part is connected, this delta connected stator part is connected to the three-phase supply. Okay, this is the rotor part. It is connected, there is a slip ring and there are slip rings, and this from the slip rings, the rotor is connected to the starting resistors in the starting time and to the exciter when it is in the normal running condition. Okay, that means at the starting time, in order to reduce the high starting current, we will be connecting this TP-DT switch to the starting resistors. When this resistors cut down fully, the motor will attain the normal running speed. When the motor attains normal running speed, the switch will be switched to the exciter. That DC exciter will excite the rotor in order to produce the rotor pulse. Okay, as we have already explained, this is the circuit for synchronous induction motor. These all are the things I have already discussed. At starting, the synchronous motor is started as an induction motor by inserting resistance in the rotor circuit. Second point is external rotor resistance is gradually cut out. Okay, when the motor attains normal induction motor speed, the rotor is disconnected from starting resistance and connected to exciter. Now the machine will operate as a synchronous motor. Okay. The features are that it comprises the features of both the motors, induction motor and synchronous motor. First two features, that is low starting current and high starting torque, are the features of induction motors. Then constant speed and power factor control are the features of synchronous motor. And for synchronous induction motor, all the four features are there. Okay. Next is extra cost and low efficiency as compared to standard types. This is all about synchronous induction motors. Hope you have understood. Okay, can we move to the third question? Third topic, that is single phase induction motor. Okay. Next main topic of this module is single phase induction motor. Okay. You can see, I will show a figure. Here, the single phase induction motor, the construction is almost similar to the three phase induction motor. We are using here squirrel cage rotor and stator windings are there as in the three-phase induction motor. But the main difference is that single phase supply is given in single phase induction motor, while three-phase supply is given in the three-phase induction motor. Okay. The single phase induction motor are generally used for application which requires capacity less than 0.5 kilowatt. The merits are simple construction, reliable maintenance, that is easy to repair, cheaper. These are all other merits, and demerits are compared to three-phase induction motor, low overload capacity, efficiency low, low power factor, low output. Okay, these all are the disadvantages of the single-phase induction motor. Okay, construction-wise, it is almost similar to the three-phase induction motor. Here you can see the rotor is same as that of three-phase squirrel cage induction motor, and single-phase winding is in the stator. But in the three-phase induction motor, three-phase winding is provided. Here, single-phase winding is given. Here, main winding, that is there's a main winding or running winding, and an auxiliary winding is also inserted in this machine in order to start. There's a centrifugal switch winding switch to cut out the starting winding after starting. During the starting only we need the starting or auxiliary winding. After that we have to cut out that, so we are using a centrifugal switch. Okay. I will explain this once again. That is, this squirrel, as in the three-phase induction motor, there is a stator and a rotor. The stator is provided with single-phase supply. Okay, but in three-phase induction motor, we are providing three-phase supply, three-phase winding. Here we are using single-phase winding, and here you can see squirrel cage rotor is same as that of three-phase induction motor. We are giving single-phase supply. Single-phase supply is given to the machine, so that which is different from the three-phase induction motor. In three-phase induction motor, we are giving three-phase. When we are giving single-phase supply to the stator, a magnetic field will be developed. Okay, as in the three-phase induction motor. But the difference is, in three-phase induction motor, a rotating magnetic field is developed. This rotating magnetic field cuts the rotor and EMF is induced. But here, rotating magnetic field is not produced because we are providing only one phase. Okay, here a pulsating magnetic field. A pulsating magnetic field is produced. It cannot cut the rotor conductors and cannot induce EMF. Okay, so the single-phase induction motor is not self-starting. Okay, it cannot be started by itself because any other thing or an auxiliary arrangement should be given to start this machine. When we give a single phase supply, when we give a single phase supply to the stator, what will happen? A flux is produced, but it is pulsating. This pulsating flux cannot cut the rotor conductors. When rotor conductors is not cut by the flux, what will happen? No EMF will be induced. And when no EMF will be induced, no induced current will be produced. Thus, the single-phase induction motor is not self-starting. This is an important question for K2 students.
Ma'am, please wind up, ma'am. Then we can move on to, okay.
Okay. we'll move to
We
the
got more than 15 questions. Ma'am, shall we move on to doubt clearing?
Yes, we can move.
Okay. One question is from Reena VP. What happens when we use induction generator for lagging currents?
Lagging. Okay.
What happens when we use?
Okay, the question is not actually clear.
Okay. Then can I ask the next question? What about types of prime movers used for starting
Okay.
induction
Next.
machines?